Welcome to our last interview of 2021 with certified homeopath Melissa Crenshaw. Today's interview is men's health. The questions we're going to be asking Melissa came directly from our customers. So we're going to be covering conditions like tinnitus, back pain, pinched nerves, addictions, low energy, and more. A quick disclaimer that we're not medical doctors and we're not giving medical advice here, but we do ask that you'll like, comment, and share this video to help inform your family and your friends about these alternative options. Your interaction with these videos helps put them in front of more people. So even commenting hello or telling us where you're from, asking a question, thanking Melissa for her time, anything like that will help us get in front of more people. If we haven't met yet, my name is Carrie Wagner, co-founder of Taproots, where we offer natural alternative medicines to help you get well and stay well. If this is your first time hearing from Melissa, I know that her joy comes from helping families find freedom and joy using homeopathy, and she's been doing this for over 20 years. So hi, Melissa. Thanks for being with us again today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me again. I love it. I love being here with you.
Of course. Well, this is fun. I love answering these questions we get from customers all the time. What we've done is just gathered the top 10 questions from our customers about men's health. So here we go. First question is, what can we do for tinnitus, and for how long should the remedies be taken before improvement is to be expected?
Good questions. A good question. A lot of people have tinnitus, but I think it's more men for some reason that I hear. A lot of men have tinnitus. So the Banerjee protocol for tinnitus is Tellurium, Metallicum, 200C every 3 days. So that's one dose every 3 days. So that sometimes can get confusing. Not every other day. So you can't say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and take it Monday and Wednesday. That's every other day, right?
Okay.
This is a very confusing thing to some people. So it's every third day. So if you take it on Monday, then you skip 2 days and it would be Thursday.
Okay.
And so it's that one and Conium, and some people say Conium maculatum, 6C twice per week. So that's also about every 3 days. And oftentimes we people combine the two and just take them both at the same time. But the Banerjee protocol is worded in that way. So I wanted to word it exactly the way they have it. They don't say mix it together, but I often people do mix it together and it works.
And you find
And
similar results with that?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and you would take those for, normally we say in chronic conditions, 8 weeks, and then reassess the situation, see how long, how often you're getting the ringing, how often, how severe is it? So look at the severity and the, maybe the frequency. But I would expect it to take longer than 8 weeks. So if you're not seeing much of a change in 8 weeks, I would not leave this protocol yet. I would give it several months before
Mm-hmm.
changing. And there is a second line, and that's in the book.
So when would you look at moving to the second line?
Maybe 3, 4, 5 months.
Okay.
It's
So this
yeah,
one is more
I know
long
that's kind of
term.
broad, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that you gave everybody the exact Banerjee protocol, but I know that sometimes there's probably a lot more women watching this than there are men, because a lot of
hmm
times they're taking care of their man.
Yeah.
And we have a lot on our plates. And so if if
Yes.
if you decide I'm going to do this twice a week
hmm
just for sanity,
hmm
like every Monday and Thursday, rather
Yep.
than every 3 days and switching and the day switches
Yes.
every week, would you
It
say
gets
that's okay?
confusing. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say that's okay?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think we can be a little more relaxed than we sometimes are with
Mm-hmm.
homeopathy.
I
hmm
agree. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the second question is, what can be done for virus-induced hearing loss?
That's a big one too, that I hear very often. And, and long before this new virus that we're dealing with, this has been happening for years and years. So when you think about anything that has come up where you're never well since, so never well since a virus that could include hearing loss um, or anything, fatigue. I think we talk about post-viral
We
fatigue
did.
one
We have a
time. We
whole
did.
video on that.
Yeah, so that never well since still Gelsemium is a great one to go with first. So never well since a virus is Gelsemium, and that can be 30 or 200 once a day, unless the ears are clogged since that virus. So your ears were not clogged before, now they're clogged, and you're going on, weeks. Then Calimere 30 or 200 once per day, and see a chiropractor.
Okay. And what are your favorite questions to ask a chiropractor when they're searching for one?
I have a list that I send to people, and I don't have it memorized, but I love my chiropractor practices this certain method. It's Korean something therapy, but another name for it is zone therapy.
Zone
So
therapy,
maybe
yes.
you look for somebody, it's not absolutely necessary. I've been seeing chiropractors for 25, 30 years. And this one that I'm with now is the first one that I've ever known to do the zone therapy, but I absolutely love it. So if you don't have one in your area, I wouldn't let that be a deciding factor. But,
Mhm.
sometimes it's that you get in to see a chiropractor and you kind of get to know their methods. And one thing that I didn't like with a previous one is adjusting me the exact same way every single time I went in.
Mhm.
There's different parts of the body that need different, whenever you're having issues, there's a different part of that spine and the neck that needs to be adjusted based on what's happening. So it should change
Okay, well,
with
this
what
is
you're
probably going to
doing.
fall in line with the next question because we
Okay.
get a lot of guys coming in with back pain, as you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I know it's very general, but talk to us about back pain remedies.
Yeah. Back pain, there is a Banerjee protocol, but I have tweaked it. I've changed it. I guess I've added to it and seen a lot of results. So, general back pain, Symphytum 200, Hypericum 200, and Rhus 30 or 200, all mixed together in the mouth at the same time. And there are pharmacies that will mix those together for you. So you can just take one,
Right.
instead of 5, 10, 15 pills.
Yes.
That can get expensive. So, but also you can take them separately, just like what, they would order from your shop, that you could buy them each separately. You could put them in water to save money. You can make
Mhm.
a little, water dose, and I've got a video on that and how to do that and save money. But 2 to 4 times a day, depending on how severe it is. And, I would say just twice a day, if that's okay, you can function, right? But up to 4 times a day, if you're like, this is bad, I can't get off the couch, whatever
Right.
it is.
We had a question. Are these men only doses remedies or can they be used for women as well?
Good question. Either, yes, it doesn't matter, men or women,
Right.
children. Yeah.
And so when you said about Symphytum, Hypericum, and Rhus tox being all mixed together, would you switch the Rhus tox with Bryonia if the person felt better lying down?
Very good question. Yes. So Rhus tox is better with movement. Bryonia is worse with movement and better with pressure. So if that back pain really, so think about Rhus tox as the Tin Man, right? He was better with continued movement. It was bad at first, but with your back pain, if it hurts and it's stiff when you first start moving, but the more you move, the better it gets, then that's Rhus tox.
Okay, so he
Bryonia,
would either do Symphytum, Hypericum, and Bryonia or Symphytum, Hypericum, and Rhus tox.
that's right.
Okay.
Yes. Most often it's Rhus tox, but yes, Bryonia, if it's worse when you move, like you can't move, it's causing
Mhm.
a terrible pain.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what if it's specifically a herniated or bulging disc?
Same.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What about
Could be.
pinched nerve?
Pinch nerve it could be the same also. That could be very good. Or you might just need hypericum. So I think and chiropractic with both of those.
Mm-hmm.
Chiropractic care is huge because, homeopathy can't change structural issues. If you have something that's out of line, homeopathy, your spine is not going to line it back up. Now with bones, if you break a bone, homeopathy still is not going to line that bone up, but it's going to cause it to heal fast and like fuse back together in whatever position it's in. So with Symphytum, that's why we have to be careful. If you have a broken or fractured bone, don't start taking Symphytum. It's going to fuse really fast in that way. Get it set to where it's straight, and then you can, when you start taking Symphytum, it's going to heal it really fast.
Right. Okay, great. Question 4 is about low energy and chronic fatigue, which I know we do have a video on post-viral fatigue, but can you share with us real quick about low energy?
Yeah, so low energy really depends on why you're having low energy. So, let me just talk to you about um, the etiology of low energy. If it's psychological, right, you're having anxiety, depression, then we're thinking Aurum 200 every other day. Great, especially for men. Women can take it too. But um, if it's because you're angry all the time, and some people might think that doesn't, I am angry all the time, but that's not why I'm tired. Yeah, it really could be. If you're angry all the time, then and a man, especially a man, women can do this too, but especially a man who's angry all the time, who has digestive issues, then you might think of Nux vomica 200 twice a day. And then if it's a low self-confidence, you're just really, you have, and this is something it's hard.
We lost your sound. Can you hear me? Oh, we can't hear you. I'm glad you brought that up, though. I hope we get you back, because I think I know what you're going to say, and I agree that low self-confidence is most often attributed to women, and men do struggle with it too, so we want to hear what you have to say. Melissa, maybe I'll remove you from the chat and you try to hop back on. I don't think you can hear me. All right, she's probably going to hop back on here in just a second. And hopefully that works. Thanks for hanging on with us. In the meantime, we'd love it if you'd like, share, and comment to help us get this video out to more people. And here, she's back. Can you hear me?
Yes, my phone rang. I can't believe that.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yes, I can't. I think has my phone never rang while we've been on one of these before? That's never happened before.
That's
so
okay.
Funny.
Well,
okay.
You're back.
Yay. Yes, I did.
You were talking about low self-esteem with men.
Yeah, Lycopodium 200 twice a day. If there's low self-esteem and, accompanied by, especially the GI issues again, and accompanied by low energy than you would think. So really low energy, again, is going to depend on why. And it's hard. What I was saying too is it's sometimes hard for men to self-reflect in that way and figure out why. So your wives can help, or friends or other family members can help. If you talk to them and say, what do you see? What do you think?
Right. Okay. Well, that's great advice. Question 5 is, what about endurance during intimacy?
Okay. So again, same. It depends on the etiology. And so the predisposition to issues with intimacy, especially endurance, is increased in smokers and with chronic hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, or arteriosclerosis, or circulatory diseases. So men have to, we can't, I was just talking to a man about this earlier today. We can't eat whatever we want to eat, live however we want to live, drink all the beer and do whatever you want to do, and then expect homeopathy to come and fix everything. You need to take good care of your bodies, and homeopathy can come and help. So if you're smoking, and having this issue, you want to try to quit smoking, and homeopathy can help you do that too. So causes are often due to psychological problems. However, 75 to 80% are physiological and have their origin in, again, circulatory problems, prescribed medications. Listen, everybody, man or woman, when you're on prescribed medications, go to drugs.com, look up the side effects. And if the side effect that you're having, if that's one of the side effects, then your maintaining cause is the drug. So then why are you on that drug? That's what we need to address with homeopathy then.
I'm so glad you mentioned that again. That should
Mhm.
be in every video.
Right? Nerve
Mhm.
disorders and pelvic trauma. So, again, if it's any of those, if it's a physiological issue, probably need a chronic consult. Psychological, we kind of already talked about depression, Aurum met, anger, nux vomica, low self esteem, lycopodium.
Okay, great. The next question is kind of a two-part question. If a man has cysts on his pancreas or any other internal organ, which remedies can be taken? And if he's striving to maintain a healthy prostrate or low testosterone, are there any remedies he should stay away from?
Good question. So cysts would need a chronic consult because there's so many. Again, we kind of need to know etiology. I need to know the whole picture. I need to get a whole history and just know a lot more. Um, there are some remedies that are really geared towards cysts, but it's not safe to just try remedies, in that way. And when I say safe, I just mean it's not best practice. So then, what was the second part of your question?
If they really want to keep a low testosterone
Mm-hmm.
because of certain prostrate issues, is
Yeah.
there a remedy that he should not take?
Yes. So I love that question. So we have to remember that homeopathy is not at all like allopathy. So allopathy says that you take this medicine to raise testosterone and you take this medicine to lower testosterone, right? And homeopathy says the same medicine can do either, because what homeopathy does is goes into the body and stimulates the immune system, stimulates the bodily functions to bring homeostasis. So the same remedy could increase or decrease testosterone based on what your body needs. So no, there are no remedies that I would say, oh yeah, I definitely don't want to do that if you don't want to raise testosterone. Now, the Banerjees might have a different outlook on that. I don't know. And so I don't mean to bring confusion at all, but when the medical doctors who use homeopathy are looking at it kind of in an allopathic way, which is okay, but homeopathy truly brings homeostasis. So if you're choosing the right remedy based on the whole person and the history, it's going to line your body up in the way it's supposed to be.
That's so comforting.
Yeah. Yeah. All
You
right.
know?
I love it.
Yes.
That's why I love it.
Okay, the next question 7, is there a remedy that will get rid of skin tags? And of course, they want to know the potency and the frequency.
Yes. Skin tags is Thuja. Thuja 6C twice or 6C once per day.
60 once a day.
Hmm.
And
And I
how
believe
long?
I
What's
believe
that?
that's a Banerjee protocol.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how long to give something like that?
Months. You can just go for months until they're gone. And I would reassess after about 3 months if there's no change in the size um, of them, or then maybe you're going to need to do something different. But the only reason I would stop Thuja before then is if you're feeling brand new symptoms that you've never had before, then maybe you want to contact a homeopath and work with somebody.
Okay, great advice there. All right, question number 8 is, what's the best choice for athlete's foot or a toenail fungus?
So Graphites 200 every other day is one choice, or Antimonium crudum 6C mixed with Arsenicum album 200C, and that would be once or twice a day.
What would make you choose one over the other?
I would go with Antimonium crudum first and Arsenicum, and just because that's the most common.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's not working after 8 to 12 weeks, then try Graphites, or get a materia medica, read the remedies, and see which one fits because athlete's foot can present in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
See which one fits your symptom picture best.
Okay, and I know you mentioned 8 to 12 weeks. If somebody's really struggling with it, and let's say they have severe itching going on, they won't have to wait 8 to 12 weeks for the itching to
That's right.
decrease. But you're just talking more of a bigger picture improvement.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. So 8 to 12 weeks. 8 to 12 weeks is when if you're still taking it because you're still having some itching or some, symptoms, then you want to reassess your situation in that time. And if there's no change, then you need to change remedies. But I would
Mhm.
absolutely expect for all those things to decrease or be gone, you
Mhm.
know, in
Right.
that time.
Okay. What about, okay, question 9 is what can be done for hair loss or balding?
Okay. So, for hair growth, to make more hair grow, phosphorus 200 every other day. For hair loss, Ustalago 200 every other day. And the general hair remedy, which could thicken hair and just increase, just really stimulate hair follicles, silica 6x 3 times a day. You could do
Okay.
all three of those together.
I was just going to ask
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Not at the same time, separated by, 5 to 15 minutes.
Okay. So all three of those, got it. Same day, but just taken separately.
Yes.
Okay. And for how long? I mean, these are all, a lot of these are conditions that you want to give a lot of time. I
That's
know.
right. Yeah, with hair, everybody's different. I mean, you could see a difference within a few doses. You might see in a few days, like, wow, you know, or it might be weeks and weeks or a couple of months. These are
Mhm.
very safe and easy remedies to use, 12, 16 weeks before changing to something else if it's not working.
Okay. All right. Question 10. Talk to us about smoking or drinking addictions and if the remedy choice would be different depending on if the person is dealing with shame, guilt, or anger.
Good. Yes, Nux vomica 200 every day. Can uproot general addictions and all, smoking, drinking, um, any kind of addiction that sugar, there are some better ones for sugar, but, generally speaking, for whatever reason, men are normally not addicted. I don't know. I guess that's not true. Sugar can be men or women. But
Mhm.
anyway, drinking and smoking, Nux vomica, if there's anger associated with it, Nux vomica is a big anger remedy.
Mhm.
Um, Shame and guilt. I don't know. It might, Nux vomica might be, I think would still be my first choice. And, but if there is a great deal of depression that goes along with this, and, and, they're feeling like they have to smoke or drink um, to function, then
Mhm.
maybe think about Aurum, if
Okay.
there's a great deal of depression. And then again, most men don't recognize that they are self-medicating, and that's why they're smoking and
Mhm.
drinking.
Mhm.
They say, I just like it. I just want to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And usually the people in their life notice the changes
Hmm.
more than they do,
Yeah. Yeah.
one way or the other.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm. Yeah.
um, okay, well, those were our 10 questions. That was so helpful. I know if you're watching and you found this video helpful in any way, please do give it a thumbs up and leave us a comment as that helps put this information out in front of more people. And as always, thank you, Melissa. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I have a special podcast coming up. It's an episode for dads, for
Okay,
men.
great.
Yeah, and so I recorded it with Mike Dixon, who is the Fit Farmer, and he guides us and talks to us about how dads can be involved in the healthcare of their families, because often, like you said in the beginning, it's the women, and that's okay, that
Mhm.
are taking care of their families. But if dads can be at least supportive and be on board and maybe even a little bit involved if they can, he just we talk about that a little bit, and that's coming up pretty soon. So
And how
just
would they get access to your podcast?
on my website is all the podcasts are listed there, but all the major podcast players, Homeopathy at Home with Melissa, And so if
Okay.
dads are interested in watching this, they might want to listen to that one too.
That's great. I appreciate you sharing that. Melissa's website is melissacrenshaw.com, where you can find information about her podcast and consultations and her homeopathic courses that she teaches. So be sure to check that out. Visit Taproots in store or online at taprootsva.com for your homeopathic remedies. And we do offer a variety of boron, WHP, and Highlands here. And stay tuned because we have some very new and exciting products hitting our shelves in the new year, including homeopathic kits that have been so hard to get this year, but we are excited about what's coming down the line. Yay! And when you sign up for our email for the first time, you'll receive a 15% off coupon code redeemable on your first online order. So happy new year to you and your family, Melissa, and all of you watching. We're so thankful, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.